All right, guys. Today I am super excited to hear the origin story of a man who literally inspired a blockbuster movie, someone who created a company that does over $20 million a year top line with a Hall of Fame quarterback. Man is made the best-selling author list not once, not twice, but three times. This gentleman has been named Sports Humanitarian of the Year by Variety Magazine. I'm so excited to welcome to the show David Meltzer. David, thank you so much for giving us your time and your attention today. Love it. So excited for you today.
Oh, thank you for having a platform and to allow me to share in my mission of empowering over 1 billion people to be happy. There's no better place to be than a show like this to help people do that.
It's amazing. Sam, if you don't mind, lead us in, my friend.
Yeah, Logan, thank you so much for setting this up. David, it is an absolute honor to be able to share some space and some time with you. The whole point of the origin story is this, is that as successful as you are, being a best-selling author, being one of the world's most renowned speakers, it is very difficult for new entrepreneurs to be able to relate to that and relate to it in a way where they can take meaningful action to change their lives. One of my mentors taught me that what people can truly relate to are the origin stories, the struggles and the trials and tribulations before all of the fame and success. And we want to highlight that because those are stories that may actually inspire people to that meaningful action. So while you're here with us, we would love to hear where your origin story starts to get to where you're at now.
I think that's great. And you have to meet people where they're at. And I think that's one of the advantages that I have is that I am very illuminating about my origin story. And I call it the tale of three cities. I know there's the tale of two cities, but for me, it's the tale of three cities. The first city was the one I was born in, Akron, Ohio. And it's the tale of not enough. I was born very poor. I had a single mom who had 6 kids. My mom worked 2 jobs. She packed my dinner in a paper bag almost every night so she could work her second job from going from a second grade teacher to filling turnstiles at convenience stores with greeting cards. She thought that education was going to be the way that all her 6 children would put themselves into a better place, a better situation. She believed the fetus wasn't fully developed till after graduate school. She had a favorite saying, doctor, lawyer, or failure. But I lived in the world of not enough. Everything was happening to me as a young man. I was a victim. Why me? Why does everybody else have the big houses, the cars that I want, the money I want, the dad that I wanted? Why does everybody else have it when I keep doing the things? I'm studying hard. I'm enjoying the consistent everyday, persistent without quit pursuit of my potential. And I utilized both athletics and education to get a scholarship to college to play football. I did my best, but I always tell people the closest I've ever come to my potential was to be an average Division III football player. But the lessons I've learned in the pursuit of being an average Division III football player carried me to places I never even dreamed I could be. I ended up going to college and then graduate school. And after graduate school, not listening to anybody else, including my mom, that the internet was a fad. Instead of after law school being an oil and gas litigator, taking a job for $150,000 in 1992 a year plus bonus, I took a sales job that had a comp plan of $250,000 in the internet. 9 months out of law school, despite my mom telling me the internet was a fad and I was making the worst decision of my life, I bought my mom a house and a car, which was my dream.
Wow.
I wanted to buy my mom a house and a car. I wanted to complete what I thought would be happiness. I grew up telling everyone that money buys love and happiness, and I proved it. Not only did I prove it as I left the world of not enough, the world of victimization, but I proved it now in the new city that I moved to, the city of just enough, where I could buy anything I wanted. If I wasn't happy, I'd buy more things. If I wasn't happy still, I'd buy different things. If I wasn't happy still, I'd buy things to impress people. If I wasn't happy still, I'd buy things to impress people I didn't even like. Money was a confirmation. 3 years out of law school was part of a exit of $3.4 billion in 1995.
Wow.
And that was a rarity. By 99, I was married to my dream girl from the 4th grade, who, by the way, hated me till I was about 27. Threw an egg at her when I was at 6th grade camp in rocks and told her what her friends were prettier than her. But more importantly, I had everything I ever dreamed of: the dream girl, the dream houses, the dream cars, the dream golf course, the green ski mountain, the dream investments, the dream notoriety, recognition, acknowledgement of great financial success. I was CEO of Samsung's phone division at the time, and Samsung
Wow.
became the second most notable phone business in the world. And I met a man named Lee Steinberg, who was most notably known for his sports agency, which they made the movie Jerry Maguire about our firm. And so, not only by the time I was in my mid 30s was I a multimillionaire, but I had access in this world of just enough to things that even billionaires couldn't afford. Sidelines at the Super Bowl, backstage at the Oscars, Emmys, Grammys, all types of access to people, our heroes that only you dream of hanging out with, from Jamie Foxx to Cameron Diaz to Warren Moon to Mark Cuban. And at that point in my life, I wasn't happy. Even money couldn't buy me happiness at that time. And so I started what most people do, spiraling, sabotaging myself, not only by surrounding myself by the wrong people and the wrong ideas, but also by utilizing bad behaviors that were aggregating without my conscious knowledge. Just as without my conscious knowledge, my good behavior aggregated to allow me to have unbelievable options, opportunities, and touches of favor, I now was using the same discipline and coherence, consistent, persistent behavior, but bad behavior, to spiral self sabotage myself in this world of just enough, where everything was a quid pro quo, a trade, a negotiation, where money bought me love and happiness. And it came to a head. My wife, 2 years, by the way, before I lost everything, over $100 million. My rock bottom occurred when my wife, when I came home at 5:30 in the morning, completely wasted after lying to her about going to work, but I really went to the Grammys with Little John the Rapper. When I came home, she told me she wasn't happy. She told me I better take stock in who I was and what I wanted to become, or I was going to be dead. And she didn't want me, her, or our 3 daughters, who were all under 8 years old at the time, to have to experience that. So at that time, full of hate, I remember distinctly waking up in the morning saying, I hate my family. I hate my best friend who called me out for surrounding myself with the wrong people and wrong ideas. I hated my dad, my mom, my siblings. I hated my best friend. I hated my wife. And I looked over in the closet, and it was really interesting because my father had given me a jacket when I was 30 and warned me that I was on a bad path. He told me I was just like him. Money doesn't buy love or happiness. So he gave me a jacket with no pockets. And instead of receiving it, learning from it, acknowledging it, being grateful for it, I told my father I hated him. I was nothing like him, that he was a liar, a cheater, a manipulator, overseller, back end seller, and to F off. And I hated him. And guess what? As I sat here on the bed in this world of not enough, I looked over and there was that jacket staring at me, reminding me what my dad had said about me, about being buried in it, to remind myself, to hang it in the closet, to remember, recollect who I was and what I wanted to become. And at that very moment, I realized I don't hate my wife. I don't hate my family. I don't hate my father or my best friend. I hated myself.
Oh.
I was a liar, a cheater, a manipulator, an overseller, back end seller. I was an extra miler. That means that I would go the extra mile every once in a while, not every day like I did when I was living in the city of not enough. I was an extra miler, blaming, shaming, and justifying why I wasn't where I wanted to be because I went the extra mile every once in a while. And so I sat down and created and took stock in the values that I lived by for the last 14 years, allowed me to survive and accelerate and promote and protect myself through a bankruptcy of over $100 million, allow me to change from money buying love and happiness to money allows you to shop, but you got to shop for the right things for the right reasons, by instituting gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration in my life. And when I was able to do that and have been practicing it via 5 daily practices every day, not only have I made everything back, but I've been able to shift the paradigm of my life to no longer live in a zero-sum game of just enough or not enough. I am no longer a victim. Pain, setbacks, failures, and mistakes do not punish me. I live in a world of promotion. I live in a world of protection. I live in a world of value add. I am protected. I am healthy. I am happy, wealthy, and worthy. I just need to figure out what I'm doing to interfere with it. I live in a value add world, not a zero sum world where you add value by asking for help and giving help. I live in abundance today of more than enough of everything for everyone. And there's the origin story of the 3 cities that I've lived in. And I hopefully will continue not only to live in the world of more than enough, but also inspire and empower others through young leaders like you, Sam and Logan, to empower others to be happy.
Wow. That was amazing. That was like there's so much to unpack right there, but the tale of 3 cities, that was amazing, from not enough to just enough to what was the third? What do you
More
call
than
the
enough.
third? More than enough.
Yeah,
More
the
than
value add world of more than enough. And it takes faith to believe that there's more than enough of everything for everyone. And it gets rid of any of the interference or scarcity of the ego that there's not enough.
That's so good. So as we kind of unpack that, and you told us your story, as these young entrepreneurs, including us, are listening to your story, if you were to give like one message, one thing to focus on with somebody who's just getting started, and they're going to be successful because they have the same drive that you do, they have that that tenacity, but what is that one piece of advice that you want to give to them to ensure that they don't have to lose $100 million, they don't have to go to bankruptcy, they don't have to have marital issues and like have to like face that that conversation with their kids? Like, what sort of advice do you give to that person?
Give advice, and it's going to blow everyone away because it's advice that I give myself every day. And it's 3 words. Ask for who. Ask for who. Ask for who can help you with what you want, and ask who you can help with what you want. The greatest and fastest way to get to where you want to be is not only to ask for help and to get directions from someone who's already there, but help someone else get there as well. When you ask for who, your life will change. You will receive aggregation, acceleration, and growth. You will receive the compound interest of inspiration, in spirit, a confirmation of what we're connected to and through. Something bigger than all of us, an omniscient, all powerful, all knowing, omnipresent source that loves you more than your mom. So as you and others receive setbacks, failures, and mistakes, you will find the light, the love, and the lessons, elevating others and elevating yourself by asking for who.
Wow. David, I've got to say, we've had a lot of amazing guests on who've told amazing stories, but in just, 10, 12, 13 short minutes, I think there's a lot of mindset shifts happening for me. I know for Logan, and I know for a lot of our viewers right now. And I have to talk about this because following you put up a reel, and it really hit home for me. And because one of the reasons is that I was raised by a single mother who struggled, her entire life to raise 4 boys. And you talked about how when you went and, things started falling apart, you lost everything. You lost $100 million. And the hardest conversation that you had to have was to go to your mother and say, Mom, the house that you are living in, you have to move out because I lost it. Now, I'm assuming in the timeline that was right around when you were in the just enough and then, getting out to the more than enough. I want to know, because that is something that when you talked about that, I heard the pain in your voice, the pain in the story, and it hit me. Kind of tell us that mindset shift for you in your clarity and understanding who you're meant to be. How did you bounce back from that?
Yeah, well, just to bounce to it was difficult. I was lying in bed telling myself, watching the movie Rocky 1, the very end of the movie, in tears, telling myself, if I can get up, I can look up, I can get up, I can look up, I can get up, because I knew I had to walk over to my mom's house. The only reason I wanted to be rich was to buy my mom a house and a car. And I forgot to take my mom's house out of my name because I was only 25 years old when I bought that house for my mom. I know, or ask for help from people to tell me, future things that could happen. And now I had to go tell my mom I lost that home and she would have to move. when I got enough energy, inspiration to go tell her, I call it the longest walk of my life. My mom didn't live very far from me. The longest walk from my life, about 2.5 blocks. I went to the door and I couldn't stop crying, and I knocked on the door, and I had imagined my mom collapsing, telling me how I disappointed her, the pain that I'd caused her, how she told me this would happen, all the things that went through my mind. And I knocked on that door and she answered, and I broke down bawling, and she said, "Oh my gosh, what's the matter?" I said, "Mom, I lost everything. I lost your house. You're going to have to move." And she said, "Are you okay?" "Mom, I don't think you heard me. I lost your house. You're going to have to move." She said, "I heard you. Do you need anything? Can I let you borrow some money? Are you okay?" I still can't tell the story without processing the pain of what I've learned, because the lesson that my mom taught me, the woman who I used to say, "You don't know, I make more money in a day than you made in your lifetime as a second grade teacher. How dare you tell me about what life's about? You telling me I'm lost? You don't know I'm not lost. You're lost. Money buys everything. That's why I'm in the position I'm in. Blah, 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 blah." And here I was with the lesson of unconditional love, of light, love, and a lesson, a potential that I had not reached, that I understood would be my new North Star, a trajectory of unlimited potential of light, love, and lessons. If my mom could withstand me in pain and only think about me, not about her, I could do the same with not just my family, but my friends, my community, my country, and the world. And my mission to empower over 1 billion people with that unconditional love, to teach people daily practices in order to effectuate abundance, to live in a world of more than enough, to make more money, to help more people, and have more fun. And that's what I'm doing over the last 14 years. And I utilize not only my wife, who said, "Great," my mom gave me light, a new trajectory to understand where I was lost, and not to sound trite, but now I'm found.
Yeah. There's something so impactful about that unconditional love, and through your story, I think it's so powerful that like you were afraid. You were afraid of disappointing your mom, and like she loved you no matter what. And that's kind of love that we need to give not only to our kids but to the people around us, like to Sam and to you, David. Like, love you no matter what. Like, there's nothing you can do to me, Sam, that you can make me upset. I think that's the message I took from that story, is that true unconditional love, and just understanding that we're on the same team, right? Add another sports reference back to it. So
I have to say this. It is a sobering reminder to me, that story, that we, no matter what we do, no matter how successful we get, whether we make 100 million or $1 billion, whether we're on TV shows or in Hollywood movies, we have to live our lives to honor the people that have sacrificed for us to be where we're at. And the second that we drift away from that, in my opinion, and this is something I'm realizing as a young entrepreneur, is that any success at the expense of our why makes the success meaningless. So hearing you talk about that and hearing the pain, and it's a sobering reminder to me. And it literally, I'm going to spend the rest of today talking to my loved ones, reminding them how much they mean to me. And every bit of success that I have has to go back to sharing love and time with them. So David, thank you so much for that.
And let me share one more thing that I find critical in my life, is knowing, and I wish somebody would have told me this when I was younger as an entrepreneur: know your non-negotiables. Your health is your number one non-negotiable. Put it before your family, even put it before your faith. If you're not healthy, you only have one wish a day. If you're healthy, you get as many wishes as you want. Then your family. The best piece of advice I can give you, especially for you and your parents, is there's only 4 things you need to remind, remember, and recollect with your parents every day. I call my mom every day. I reconcile time with my non-negotiables. So I spend a minimum amount of time with all my family members. I spend a minimum amount of time every day on my health, a minimum amount of time on my activities and planning and unplanning, etc. But here's one of the greatest pieces of advices that I give, and it will guarantee change the most important things in your life. Call your parents or your mom every day. Tell her 4 things. Mom, I am healthy. Mom, I am happy. Mom, I love you. And finally, I appreciate you. You add value to a world of value add to my life. If you tell your parents this every day, it will heal all the projection of fear that they have. Won't make you drive an hour to fix a screen door when you could just hire a contract to do it far better than you are. They won't make you do things. They won't be bothered that you didn't attend a birthday party, because they will know the 4 things that they need from you for you to be happy and healthy, to appreciate and love them.
Dude, so amazing. So amazing. So if you guys didn't pick that up, tell your mom that you're healthy, that you're happy, that you love them, and you appreciate them, right? It's so simple, but it's so powerful, right? And so, David,
Every
as we start
day.
to wrap up here, we do appreciate your time so much. And so tell us what you have going on right now. We talked about your origin story, but tell us what you have going on right now. What are you doing? How are you serving? How are you serving the world right now? Because you're someone who serves at a big level. So can you tell us, like, tell the audience, like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
So I'm creating
And
content. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm creating content to empower people like you. So I do speeches around the world. I'm blessed to be doing a tour with Deepak Chopra in Australia, even. So dreams are coming true. I write books. I have 8 books written right now. I've published 4 of them, those bestsellers. So I also give those away for free. So if you DM me or email me, david@dmeltzer.com, I give the books for free and pay for shipping. So I'm here to empower people. I have one of the top podcasts called The Playbook, over 1,200 episodes of billionaires, millionaires, entrepreneurs, celebrities, athletes, and entertainers giving their secrets. I have many free shows, IG Lives, office hours. I have Apple TV deal for entrepreneurs. Uh, I've done elevator pitch with Entrepreneur Magazine, office hours, 2-minute drill. You can win $50,000 of cash and prizes on a pitch show. But all of my content give people for free these dummy hacks that I paid, these mistakes, setbacks, and failures, to allow you to be promoted and protected without as much pain that I had to experience or endure. Please just reach out to me, david@dmeltzer.com. I'm sure I forgot multiple other things of content, and my PR people like, why did you say this? So I really don't give a shit. Just reach out to me. You Google my goddamn name. I don't care what you do, but you need to learn the lessons that I've learned and put it and make it your own. And my mission for the rest of my life is to do so. I appreciate both of you. I know that you're going to be able to have an impact as well. I can tell by your mindset, your heart set, and your handset. You're far farther away than I was. You're ready to go. Keep on doing what you're doing. I'll come back and do more with you guys. Just let me know. David@dmeltzer.com is how you find me. Thank you so much for having me.
David,
Thank you so much.
Appreciate your time. If you guys go check out David, so Instagram, email him, david@dmeltzer.com. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Origin Story, we're out.